Every year, the NMSU Bulldogs dream the dream. And every August, they plant the seed for success. And every year, by September, those dreams come to life. And the new season brings new hope and great excitement. Great things come to those with great dreams. And at Northeast Missouri State University, students learn how to put their dreams into motion. That's the story of the 1994 Bulldogs reaching for the top.
There isn't anybody that we play that we can't walk out on the field and beat. They're not going to give it to you. You're going to have to beat them. But there's not anybody that we play on our schedule, and I'm talking 14 or 15 games, that this group will play like they're capable of, that can beat you. You're capable of beating every single team that you come up against. You know that. I know that. We've got to work to get to that spot. We leave no doubt in anybody's mind what kind of football team you are.
The Bulldogs first had to prove their point on the road at Mankato State. The Bulldog defense helped get things started with this interception by Brandon Steele. And a few plays later, Jared Anderson made it pay off. After falling behind by 2 touchdowns, it was Thompson to Matt Brayman for a big touchdown to put the Bulldogs within 7 points. In the third quarter, Mark Cross put the Bulldogs in scoring position again. And from 17 yards out, it was Anderson again. But the Bulldogs would need to pull this one out in spectacular fashion. 3 minutes left in the game, and Scott Rudell lined one up from 34 yards out. As Mankato State tried to rally, it was Eddie Garrett, Johnny on the spot. The Bulldogs win week 1, 30-28. And then it was Warrensburg. And it didn't take long for Jared Anderson to turn it on. In this ball game, the Northeast defense dominated. Here, Nick Delavadova with the interception. And the Bulldogs received a great game from the man of steel, Brandon Steele, with 2 interceptions in the first half. Here, Jeff Nichols gets into the action as the Bulldogs go out to the early lead. You knew this had to be the Bulldogs' game. Watch the touchdown catch by Matt Brayman. Now, after Central Missouri State tied it up at 14-all, it was Art Austin with the big kickoff return. On the very next play, James Ross put the Bulldogs ahead. In the fourth quarter, Stephen Thompson to Matt Copeland for a little icing on the cake. And the Bulldogs knock off Central Missouri State 28-20. And then it was time to come home. For about 25 seconds, Northwest Missouri State thought that this might be the year that they could win the old Hickory Stick. But it was 83 yards from Steve Thompson to Matt Brayman, and the Bulldogs were off and running. Less than 3 minutes later, Jared Anderson took a stroll. The Bulldog offense struck quick, but so did the defense. In the second quarter, Jarrett Anderson put the Bulldogs on top 27-3. The Bulldogs were after their 10th straight hickory stick, and they put it away in the second half. Steve Thompson to Chris Bray.
My pleasure to present this hickory stick to the winning coach and team, Coach Eric Coleman and the Bulldogs. Congratulations.
Give the seniors there.
The Dogs were off and running with a 3-0 record.
We do have our goals set high, and that's something that we emphasize in the team. And again, I hope that provides the incentive for them that if they want to attain them, they're going to have to keep their nose to the grindstone. Both them and the coaches have to go back and reflect and see what we can do to improve ourselves all the way around.
We're a people bound together by a single heart and mind, like none who've gone before us or those we've left behind. We take the time, the sweat and tears to soar to worlds on high and make the goals that we set, and then we'll pass them by. We're reaching for the top, no limit to what we can do, and all together, me and you, we're gonna see it through somehow. We're reaching for the top, the goal is set, we're pressing on to greater heights and well beyond levels we've never been before. We're reaching for the top. It's a hunger that we're sharing and a thirst we all possess that keeps us moving upward in search of sweet success. We know the task before us, we know just how it's done, and like a race, we'll never quit until that race is won. We're reaching for the top, no limit to what we can do, and all together, me and you, we're gonna see it through somehow. We're reaching for the top, the goal is set, we're pressing on to greater heights and well beyond levels we've never been before. We're reaching for the top.
Middle linebacker Paul Grutter with the big interception, and the Bulldogs dominated Northwest 37-10.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You learn something every week, and this is a learning experience for me. I don't really know what to say to a team, when we're in position all of a sudden, when we win a game by 27 points, and we're a little bit disappointed about it. I don't know what to say. That's one they teach me in coaching one-on-one, and I can't tell you exactly. I know it's a hell of a lot better situation being here than it is over there in that locker room right now.
In week 4 of the season, the Bulldogs will continue their great start hosting Missouri Southern.
Missouri Southern is one of those games on the schedule that you gotta have. That's why you want to schedule. We're going to come right out from the start. If it's 21-3 at first quarter, it's going to be 42-6 at the half. It's going to be 63-9 at the end of third. And if it's 80-12 at the end, that's great. We're going to take it right to them. There's no let up, no easing up. We're going to take it right to them for 64 minutes. 60 of them. Not 17 or 27 or 40, but 64 minutes of football. I want to see what this team can do. We haven't put 64 minutes together yet. I want to see what this team can do for 64 minutes.
That was the challenge, and the Bulldogs were up to it.
The Workaholic.
Why you always work, messing up your mind with that paperwork. The only thing in his brain to ball is working, yo, ain't that all? They do it for money, but he for fun. He won't get away till the job is done. But drinking like an alcoholic. The guy is just a workaholic.
I'm just about speechless. I don't know that if I have enough in my vocabulary. My vocabulary is usually pretty good. I don't know if I have enough words in my vocabulary to express. Please don't. I don't have enough in there to express my admiration. You know, and that's what it is. It's admiration watching you guys go out there and the effort that you put forth. It's just, I just admire you. I don't know if I'd be capable of doing it. I mean, just guys that go out there and laid it out on the ground, left it out there on the field. I have a tremendous amount of admiration for your effort. And that's as high a praise as I can possibly give.
The Bulldogs won it convincingly, 37-21.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It was a game the Bulldogs took over in the fourth quarter, with Jarrett Anderson running behind a powerful offensive line.
I want to commend the offensive line too, fellas. We had 1 million yards in the fourth quarter. Jarrett had more than 100 yards in the fourth quarter alone. Mark Cross had 1 million in the fourth quarter. You know, we said play as a team. It was the last thing that we said. No question. There would be no question in anybody's mind that you played as a team. And you played as a team. I put this sign up here when I first got here because that was what my coach used to say about total effort among men, and that's exactly what we had today. We had total effort among men. You know, and anybody who doesn't think that there's something to be gained or something to be learned from being out there on the field and having to expend yourself and laying it all out on the line and risking everything, I mean, there's been, fellas. I mean, everything that you talked about, the microcosm of everything you talked about in athletics was laid out there on the field today. I mean, hell, we weren't perfect, so what? I mean, we played football like you need to play football. Defense, man, you guys stuffed them. You turned the ball over to us time after time after time. You know, what a great job. What a great job.
In Emporia, Kansas, the Bulldogs picked up where they left off, and they stopped Emporia on this nice interception by quarterback Jason Hendricks. And they made that pay off. It was Thompson to James Ross. In the second quarter, Matt Brayman took the Bulldogs deep into Emporia territory. And then it was Thompson to Copeland for 6. In the second half, the Bulldogs pulled away, Cross with a 3-yard touchdown run, and Jared Anderson in from 15 yards out. He had 190 yards rushing in the game as the Bulldogs knocked off Emporia 28-10. And then it was back home against Washburn. The Bulldogs muscled up on Washburn. Mark Cross shoving his way downfield. The Bulldogs, at number 8 in the country, rolled over the Ichabods. Jared Anderson gave the Dogs the lead. And it was Thompson to Bray, the bomb. The Bulldogs nearly had 500 yards in total offense, 297 on the ground, as they go on to beat Washburn 50-31. On to Rolla. And in the first quarter, it was Stephen Thompson to Jared Anderson for 19 yards. Still in the first quarter, Anderson does it again. And the Bulldogs get one more in the first quarter. Here, it is Thompson to Matt Brayman from 12 yards. The Bulldogs were number 1 in the country in turnover margin. And here they forced the Miners into another mistake. And the Bulldogs put the icing on the cake. Sophomore tailback Kariga Scott with the touchdown run. And the Bulldogs knocked off Missouri Rolla 38-7. And then in week 8, it was homecoming with Southwest Baptist. The Bulldogs pummeled Southwest. Here, it was Thompson, 6 yards to Matt Copeland. Now watch the second quarter catch by James Ross. And senior Nick Delavadova got a kick out of his final homecoming. And the Dogs go for a little razzle-dazzle. And it's Thompson to Chris Bray to finish off the scoring drive. In the third quarter, they hook up again. And Miko Miller adds a little icing on the cake. Eight up and 8 down for the Bulldogs. And even though NMSU ranks 7th in the country in all-time victories, the Dogs hadn't gone 8-0 since 1934. And as the season came down to a close, the Bulldogs came so close to 2 more victories. Pitt State hadn't lost at home since 1984, but they needed 59 minutes and 59 seconds to escape Northeast. After another close loss at Missouri Western, NMSU once again earned an NCAA Division II playoff bid, and that's 3 playoff teams in 5 years. And that is something to remember this team for. Reaching for the top, the 1994 Bulldogs provided so many wonderful memories, and it truly was the year of the dog.
It's a hunger that we're sharing and a thirst we all possess that keeps us moving upward in search of sweet success. We know the task before us, we know just how it's done, and like a race, we'll never quit until that race is won. We're reaching for the top, no limit to what we can do. Together, me and you, we're gonna see it through somehow. We're reaching for the top. The goal is set, we're pressing on to greater heights and well beyond levels we've never been before. We're reaching for the top. We're reaching for the top. Me and you, we're gonna see it through somehow. We're reaching for the top, and goal is set, we're pressing on to greater heights and well beyond levels we've never been before. Oh.